The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and extremely tired host.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And we're up 18 points on the S&P cash. Dow 30 up 190, NASDAQ up 61. Russell, weak sister today, up only a little bit more than 0.1%. It's 1,666. So what do we have happening today? Well, a little bit of follow through from yesterday. We've had people shorting this market on every tick up for pretty much since the 2nd of January. Nothing's really changed here. We've got Apple flirting a couple of times with the $310. That had been the most hated stock in the market. It's down to like number 8 right now. But when you think of 500 stocks in the S&P cash, is there a stock that could, any chance there's a stock that's probably worse off than all the 500 in the S&P? Somebody was making some comments in the den just before the show about going up on light volume. I spent one summer, I want to say 2003, or no, probably 2004, 2005, and literally there was no volume from the 1st of August all the way to the, I got to get that cable fixed, from the end of, what do I want to say? The beginning of August all the way to about the 7th of September. There was like 40 days, and the thing just went up. I don't know. Back then it was a lot, but it was like 5 or 6 points in the S&P each day, and it just kept going and going. It didn't break until the 7th, 8th, or 9th or something. I'd have to go back and look at the charts. But I remember just thinking and watching people short it day after day, shorting in the morning only to push it down 5 points, but by the end of the day it was up 5 points. And we're a little bit bigger scale at this point, but markets can remain not nutty much longer than you can remain solvent. So when we look at this, just know that the market tends to finally turn when either everybody at the bottom decides to throw their hands in, or at the top when everybody gives up shorting. And I haven't seen any part of that that says that's over. I do see a lot of people shorting literally everything that bounces. There isn't a lot of volume, but they short in the morning, they cover in the afternoon. And if we see yet another move like that today, I think we can say something. The other thing is we're into Thursday. That means that a lot of these people who have been shorting for the last week are all on the wrong side. The question is, by the time we get to 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, do you think those folks will blink? Or do you think they want to sit and fry all through the weekend? My guess is that we probably have maybe a short-term high in for Friday. Options themselves, one of the reasons I'm tired is we had a lot of monkey business going on at the CBOE with volumes, not only the volumes, but the options. And I've had to do a lot of them by hand. I was up till, I don't know, probably 4 o'clock this morning, got a couple hours of sleep. So between Tuesday night and last night, I'm massively sleep deprived. But I always notice that a lot of times I'm not going to be Pollyannish, but I'm going to say many times at highs, it's not uncommon to see 3 or 4 days ahead of time that they start pulling this stuff. There's a handful of stunts that they pull. Sometimes it is just that, and sometimes it's the data provider. There's a thing, I bring it up from time to time, called paper towns. And back in the, before about 1935, there was no standard way of either drawing a road or a highway or the kind of sign that you would see there. You might see three different signs, all for the same road, and people were calling it three different things. And the companies that sold the map would put the signs up. And of course, they'd come along and tear down the signs of the other folks. It was a real nightmare to get around on the rural and even the major highways until pretty much the mid-30s, when the government kind of stepped in and forced everybody to do the same thing. But there's a famous case where it's not where this map company put on the name of a phony city and then waited for the others to copy it. And then they sued them for copyright infringement. Well, little known to them, in the meantime, someone actually showed up there, looked at the name on the map, incorporated the city, and ended up losing the lawsuit. But putting in phony data, changing the opens and closed by pennies or nickels, or having huge ticks that don't make any sense in the data, I can tell you as a programmer, it takes all of about a day to write something that would go and filter all those out. I've actually talked to data companies about them putting those things in there, and they say, oh, it's just not a mistake. And I said, well, I'll give you this code. I wrote it. It'll find 98% of your ticks. Oh, no, we don't need that. That tells me a couple things. Either they love putting out horrible data, or they know it's wrong and it's put out there for a reason, and that is to catch other people copying their data, putting it out on their websites and not paying anything for it. But at the same time, we've seen a lot of monkey business with volumes in the past. Most famously, I hadn't been trading but for a couple of years. At about 2000, 2001, the big trick was to double count some days opening and closing volume like it was two trades. That lasted for about a year or 2 years until the SEC fined a bunch of people and made it illegal to do that. But they're always trying to game the system at some level, somewhere. Whatever roadblock you try to put in them, they'll find a way to get around it. There's so much money to be made to do it. But I used to see, especially around 2000, it was not uncommon to see the data really lag compared to what was going on. So a lot of times, I still do it sometimes, and that is in fast markets. I'll have something like one of the cable news channels on for financial infotainment with the volume off. Sometimes I put a towel over the top of it so I just see the ticker. But always nice to check what's going on in the market. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And we're back. We've got Max on the line from Fort Lauderdale. How you doing today, Max?
Hey, good afternoon, David. I'm short both oil and gasoline. You think we're going to get a little bounce here?
Hey, I got to get this cable fixed. Okay. What ETF would you most likely be using? Or are you short the futures?
SCO.
What's that?
SCO. Can you hear me?
Step pan? All I heard was SCL.
SCO, short oil.
STO, okay. What is that going on? Why do I get Equinor? Are you sure that symbol STO?
SC, as in Charlie.
Ah, okay. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, the ultra-short Bloomberg crude oil. You had a nice test of 11 million shares back on September 16th. That got down to $12.12. Again, 11 million shares tested it with 4.4 million shares. You're back into the trading range. So what's your question here?
You think we're going to get a bounce from oil?
I think you, on this one in SEO, you probably would see somewhere in the $14 range.
Okay, you think we're still going higher then, huh?
For oil?
No, for SCO.
Yeah, no, I think we've had kind of the shock to the system in oil, and unless something else happens, and my guess is it's not going to happen very soon, if anything happens at all. So we probably, here's normally my theory, and that is I get nervous around the new moon because that's when the U.S. military attacks. It doesn't do anything on the full moon. We need pretty much dark for stealth bombers, or you could just see them with the moon. So if we're looking at something to actually drive crude higher, the risk factors, I think we got at least a couple of weeks. into that. And by then, if everything's kind of calmed down, probably even less than, maybe even more than that. But no, we had a couple of shocks. Look like if you looked at the futures overnight, look fairly good. There's a lot of supply at the moment. I don't think that there's a real desire in Iran to push this any further. So at least at the short term, they may go longer term. But I think we've got a little window here, and that window could bring it back. I'm thinking crude support or near-term support probably around $55.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You bet. But no, I mean, this is a good looking chart if you wanted to go short oil. I tend right now, with as much as the markets are being headline driven, would rather probably use options. But that's just me. I'd rather buy the option, or would have bought the option down there at the lows instead of bought the actual ETF. With the low VIX right now, the risk reward, it's much cheaper to own an option on some of these ETFs than it is to actually own the ETF, since you have not unlimited risk, but a lot of risk in the ETF opposed to limited risk with the options. So I would add that. In the meantime, oh, are you still there?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you use options, but that would probably have been my druthers, just because we have so many kind of news stories that could easily kind of push you out of the market from day to day. But other than that, it looks like a good trade. Today's a doji. My guess is that 1425 area, where that gap came down on the 4th of December, is what you're looking at. I think that's okay. You got a pretty good chance there. Today's got a doji. I suspect that's the halfway move. You may get some sideways moves, and then by probably next week, maybe into next week, I think 1425.
Okay. Thank you.
You bet. Yeah, good looking chart. I would have liked to seen the energy a little less on the way down, but man, you got a very good test of that September 16th low. So that generally means you're going to go at least back up in first level of resistance, which is 1425. We start picking up volume out here like we have on things like gold, would be fairly interesting. Or maybe even a lot more. Maybe you could go to 16, but I'd wait and reevaluate at 14. What else do we have? Well, we've got a little bit of history that we haven't gotten to yet.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 2009, through a posting to the cryptography mailing list, the Satoshi Nakamoto releases the first version of Bitcoin software and launches the network of decentralized peer-to-peer cryptocurrency. 6 days earlier, Nakamoto had generated the first block of 50 Bitcoins, now known as the Genesis block. Had people asking me about Bitcoin. I just don't see, the problem is that technical trading, or at least any of this kind of stuff, depends on having some kind of history. For past to be prologue, you need some past. And one of the problems with Bitcoin is not that it hadn't been around for 10 years, but we know that the last 5 years is going to see a lot of people that were manipulating it going to jail. And those cases kind of slowly working through the market, but highly manipulated. So I don't know if you can use the past a great deal for Bitcoin. I suspect that something will probably come out of this, probably by the Swiss. My guess is it will probably be by the Swiss. But Bitcoin's got kind of a fairly nasty reputation for pedophiles, drug kingpins, hitmen, and child pornography. I think you kind of need to get past all that stuff, and probably a new name backed by somebody like the Swiss or the Swedes, or somebody that's not always up in your grill about privacy is probably going to be the place that it happens. But you need a company or a country behind it. I suspect. I think that's one of the big weaknesses in Bitcoin. Yes, will it move? Is it predictable? I think the chart looked fairly good last week. I was talking to one of my subscribers in it. Am I going to be involved in it? You know, I could if I had some options on it. Again, I don't want to be anything like this that can drop $1,500 in a heartbeat. So that would be it. Anyway, we're going to go to the break. When we come back, we'll be looking at a lot of charts and see how they did. I did a lot of scans last night, and we'll look at some of those charts for the rest of the show. Or, of course, you can always give me a call at 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we've got some stocks that are moving. I was looking at this one as it came up to resistance. This is Applied Optoelectronics. These companies are feast and famine. They either get some huge contracts or they get nothing. But these, of course, are all about dropping fiber optic cable. Nice bounce through resistance in AAOI, so this is in play. ACHC. Cadia Healthcare Company. This is right back up to the September 19th high. That was 33.25. You got to 33.92 a couple of days ago. Couple little well, a little hammer today, but it's certainly not backing off yet. AMD, a lot of noise out of this one at the Consumer Electronics Show. We'll talk to Tom O'Brien about that tomorrow and what's going on. You got a couple little dojis out here today, but no real close below the 3x3 displaced moving average yet. Nor a good sign. Even if this started to dip, I would assume that this is probably going to go back and retest at least 50, and that's probably where you'd want to pull the trigger, and that may be after next week's expiration. AutoNation has been pulling back, and actually it's very bullish. You probably want her under 44, maybe 43 bucks to go back into this huge candle from what is that? July 23rd of 2019 that came up on 4.7 million shares. You're down on 350,000 shares right now. So pretty bullish chart in AutoNation. Builders First Source. Doesn't look like there's any weakness here. Of course, we had Lennar yesterday, KBH Homes after the bell tonight. That's KBH, right? Again. And of course, this actually just sitting right at the previous high, October 25th, 37.30. It had, you got 1 million shares more. It's pulled back. But you got probably going to have what you need in the volume today, at least match that previous October 25th high. I would have liked to seen a little bit more energy. But again, a lot of this move started around Christmas when there wasn't much in the way to go for volume. So you want to look at KBH after the bell tonight. Had a fairly decent test of the high on B to gold, BTG symbol on this one, $4.01 on August 7th. With 14 million shares, tested it with 5 million shares on December 26th. This one's been pulling back a little bit. Borg Warner, in that industrial space, also pulling back on fairly light volume, gapped up on 4 million shares, 4.3 million shares on October 31st. It's tested this $41 area twice. You may get that yet another test, but it's down today on just 500,000 shares. CADE, which is a Cadence. CADE is the symbol on this one. I don't short below $30 stocks, but this one, if you're looking for a pattern that says that you might get maybe another 50 cents out of this one before it heads lower, I would be very interested to see that, how it operates in the next few days going forward. We talked about Chipotle as a allegory for Boeing have fallen from the worshipped in the stocks, only to come back up and make massive new highs. But you got at about 300,000 shares. You really wanted something around 1 million shares. The October 22nd high was 1.3 million shares. The high before that was 600,000 shares. So you may have gotten your test. What you would like to see on this one is a couple of days below the 3x3 or 9-day moving average, a couple of days above it, and the next move lower. So we're probably talking at least through next week before I'd see any significant signal in CMG that would say maybe this is something you would want to short. Market still looks fairly decent. Like I said, I think you're still a week away. If you just can't stand going long, I think you're still a week away, but I would keep a close eye on CMG. Coupa Software kind of breaking out of the October 14th, 2019 high. That had 2 million shares at 159.97. You're up to 171. You had some nice days out here with some volume. You had 3 million shares on the 6th. And yeah, 3 million shares on the 3rd. So you had 1 million more shares than that October 15th high. Light volume today, which not unbelievable. D.H. Horton, as we talked about KBH after the bell, this one's certainly the weaker of that bunch. I think this must have had a reverse split, right? I think it did. Anyway, the weak sister, This one had a very weak bounce off the December 19th low and kind of pulling back. Light volume today, though, 2 million shares, so can't make a lot about that. Electronic Arts, which hasn't had a lot in the way of new games, is testing its high. Got to 110.34 today. That compares to the February 15th high last year at 108.80. That had 11 million shares. So possibly one there. And as we talk about that double repo pattern from Joe DiNapoli, I love so much. What you want is if you're thinking that this thing probably pull back to 100. So, maybe a option play. I don't see where shorting this for 10% of a move would make a lot of sense for the equity. But close below probably the 3x3 would probably set up a fairly decent retrace. These things after Christmas do have a tendency to pull back fairly easily. SPY option target any price on January 17th? And the answer is yes. I did them all by hand, so I kind of hate saying something because I made a mistake. I think I did it right, but you never know in the middle of the morning at 4:30 in the morning if I got it right. I tested it a couple times. Looks good, but 33.20 looks like the projected expiration for a week from tomorrow. So I think if you're looking for some weakness in this market, right now it looks like we could go another week and another, 50 points higher, which is not a whole lot over the next week in the S&P. But, like I said, there are too many of these stocks are actually showing that you'd still need 4 or 5 days for them to roll over or make a good signal. Now, maybe the whole market just gives it all up at once, but not very prudent without a signal, without a good candle, without some kind of thing saying a high is in. Markets can go a lot farther than you can. Edison International, EIX symbol on this one, tested with about the same volume of the September 27th high. Looks like we're going to be going to break. We'll be back in a minute. Plenty of time to give me a call at 877-927-6648. We've got some emails coming in. We'll take a look at those too.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the Tax Opportunity Zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're back. Email asking about the Rubicon project, which is a digital software advertising company. And at this point, the big problem is that big ad houses on, Madison Street? Not Madison Street, Madison Avenue. All want to use the big guys to do their advertising. There's a couple over in Europe that I like better than this, but you had a nice move off that $7 low to the $11 high. A little bit of a failure here. If you could get a retrace to $9.29 on light volume, the next move up may be able to break and go higher. Certainly in a environment this year for advertising in politics, not a bad play. I like the idea. Shows some real chutzpah to be thinking that way, Hector. So yeah, I like it. It's, you got a little bit of a failure here, but got a lot of days up to this high. You may not get that $9 level, $9.50 level, but maybe if it thing bases out at $10, you might be able to get into it. I don't know if you're long or short it or what. I'm assuming you're not short it, but I'm thinking you may want to go long for the year. Yep, that would be nice. Maybe 10, maybe 950, ideally 930 where those previous lows were, but just a lot of patience on those. Yeah, probably get it pushed back under $10 at least. But yeah, not a bad looking play. What else do we want to look at? Another question, do I still think Elizabeth Warren is the Democratic nominee? The answer is yes. We could go into all the reasons why, but a lot of people wouldn't be happy with my evaluation on it, but I have a feeling by the time it gets down to the convention, there's a lot of reasons why. So, and again, it doesn't make me happy and it doesn't make me money. I've got other things to do. Estee Lauder, EL, also hanging out at these highs. No volume in this one, though. 206.99 on September 6th of last year. You're up today on 600,000 shares. So there are some stocks out there that could be potential shorts if the market does flip. I just do not see much in the way of a flip here through expiration. Again, the market reacts to what it knows. If something comes out that it doesn't know, that'd be it. We've got some numbers in the morning, but I have a feeling they're going to come in line or maybe even a little bit better than most people think. Let's see, what else do we have out here? You can email me at path@tfnn.com. Globe Life, this one came back and tested its gap up. I don't know if you can make a lot about that one. I don't know why it's in there. Grubhub, Certainly, if you were looking for a stock that may be breaking if the market turns next week or the week after, Grubhub has come back and filled this horrible gap down from the 29th of October. That was 46.8 million shares. Certainly right in here is where you would want to be pulling the trigger short if you were fair bearish about this. I just know so many people are using these folks. I don't know if they're making any money, but certainly a lot of people here in Florida are doing it. But we'll see what it does. HubSpot coming back into the big move down on the 9th of September with almost 1 million shares, about half that so far today. KMI, which is Kinder Morgan, starting to break out a little bit above this trading range that goes back to mid last summer. So keep an eye on that over the next couple of days. A lot of these kind of stealthily breaking through these highs. Let's see what else we have out here. Lattice Semiconductor. I had somebody asking me about the SMHs, so I'll talk about that as soon as I'm done with this. LSCC. And you got about the right volume. You need about 6 million shares, though, from the August 1st of last year. Don't quite got that. Had about 3 million shares, so that's in it. The SMHs look like maybe these things could at least hang out to these levels, if not go a little bit higher. Wouldn't be surprised to see 150 on expiration next Friday. That's not a whole lot in this thing. To the upside, you got kind of light volume today. May get a couple of sideways days, but I think as long as this stays above the 3x3 displaced moving average, you're probably just going to go up on light volume into next Friday. So probably slightly bullish on that into next week. Stock that pulled back after its breakout on the 1st of November is LyondellBasell, LYB. Nice pop higher on the 1st of November with 2.7 million shares. You did have a little bit too much volume in the past. Yesterday wasn't so bad with 1.8 million shares, so there may be a little bit more, but it could be finding some support. Macy's, actually not a bad looking day for Macy's for filling this horrible gap down that goes back to August 14th of last year with 65 million shares. You just don't have the juice. Yesterday, you got into it with 35 million shares. Today, you just have about 13, 14 million shares. Way too many people short on Macy's, though, for being problematic. A lot of these banks I'm seeing have some fairly light tests of some lows. Lately, October 31st on New York Community Bank, NYCB, saw a low of $11.43 with 21 million shares. Got into it 3 days ago with 6.6 million shares. Today, all you got is 2 million shares. There isn't a lot of juice to push this lower. Would have liked to seen the pullback come on a little lighter volume, but all in all, not kind of a bad pullback. Penn National Gaming, of course, the change in the relationship with China was a big deal. When we see the test of February 7th of last year that had 2.5 million shares, you only hit it with 1.3 million shares. So that's a little dubious out here. You're into a lot of overhead resistance, which I think is why you have the light volume. Sprott Physical Silver. This one had about 500,000 shares lighter than the October 25th high. Certainly looks like this jumped the creek this morning, at least on this 3x3 displaced moving average. You want it back above that at some level, or it will probably stay on a sell. I know it's not that predictive, PSLV, but it's there. We'll be back in a minute.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as our #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we get ready to wrap up the end of the show, we're talking about volume. No, yesterday we had about 8 billion shares, which is a pretty good day for volume. So it's not like when we were talking earlier today about maybe potentially light volume. It's not that the volume was light yesterday. It's kind of lighter today. But my thoughts are a lot of people were short or they shorted yesterday, and they're continuing to be squeezed out all the way through the close tomorrow. If we're looking for a little bit of a pullback, I think maybe Monday, Tuesday, in the late part of next week, maybe back up to that 33.20 area. At least that's what our options are kind of showing right now. Anyway, question about Sonos. They've got a bunch of legal issues going on with Google, but I don't think that makes them anything worth being attractive. SPG, which is Simon Property Group. A lot of these are just kind of hanging around the lows. But not showing any volume, at least compared to the December 12th low. These things are kind of coming out. I'd like to see a couple things. I'd like to see, if you really want to get bearish, I'd like to see the TLT or something like that actually have a big move. It's just been very kind of a light downtrend all the way into this 136s. I think you got to have the thing jump the creek or break some ice or do something like that before I see much. The other one that I'm keeping a close eye on is VNQ, which is the REITs. And again, I don't see anything that really shows much of any kind of impotence out here, just sideways action. So again, until I start seeing some things like quit shorting, the TLT getting into trouble, the REITs starting to show some real problems. Can you get a pullback yet? Is there a 10% pullback in that? Don't see anything quite yet. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you here tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time. KBAH after the bell, econ numbers in the morning.